Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Jeanette Quesada. Thank you, Miles. Well, one of the 12 people killed in the mass shooting at Virginia Beach was a Bakersfield native. 42-year-old Catherine Nixon graduated from Bakersfield High School. She grew up in town and had been working as an engineer for public utilities for 10 years. Nixon is just one of 11 city employees killed in that shooting. The 12th victim was a contractor looking to work with the city. Daniel David gives us a closer look at that mass shooting. The sheriff's office now investigating a homicide after a body was found near Carrasco Farms. Earlier today, the body of a man was found near Interstate 5 and South Sabaton Street. The identity of the man has not been released. Deputies are now working on investigating the cause of death. Well, from boots to business, two local veterans just started their own military-inspired apparel and memorabilia company. Lexi Wilson tells us how the company plans to give back to other veterans. Lexi? Great story there, Lexi. Over 450 students from across Kern County received firsthand soccer training from professional coaches and players. Our photographer, Jesus Vasquez, captured the sights and sounds of the event. Thank you, Jesus. Now, day 2 of Hoffman Hospice Pickleball Palooza tournament took place today. 75 people competed in today's tournament. The friendly competition helps bring donations to the hospice so they can continue to help people around Kern County. The hospice hopes to raise $15,000.
And so we really depend on the generosity of our community. We serve about 280 patients a day, and we serve not only them, but we serve their families.
Since 1995, Hoffman Hospice has been Kern County's only locally founded nonprofit hospice serving over 20,000 people. Coming up on Eyewitness News, more trouble for Boeing 737 MAX aircrafts. Well, still to come, Eyewitness News, more problems for Boeing 737 planes, a look at defective parts found in the aircrafts. More trouble for Boeing 737 aircrafts. The company says some of its grounded planes could have faulty parts on their wings. The faulty parts could crack or fail prematurely. The FAA says such a failure would not bring a plane down, but it could damage one while in flight. It's the latest problem the company faces as it tries to get the 737 MAX planes back in the air. They were grounded following 2 crashes. A lot of the community here is on edge considering the significant magnitude of the earthquake that happened just yesterday evening. Many of those Ridgecrest residents still feeling uneasy following that 7.1 earthquake, but today they're gradually returning back home, hoping for the best. As this community recovers from those earthquakes, many are still coping with all kinds of emotions. Today I spoke with a counselor who says those emotions are normal, but seek help if you need it. That's right, Raina. We are live right now at Jastrow Park, and the weather is beautiful, but it is still pretty hot. Right now I checked, and it is 99 degrees outside. As you can take a look behind me, people are enjoying the sun, but with me right now, I do have a device that basically tracks how hot the surfaces around here are. So come follow me and let's take a look at how hot the sidewalk can actually get, even though there is water around. So if I point at the sidewalk right now, you can take a look. It is 112 degrees hot. So just a reminder to make sure that if you are bringing your kids out here to have fun, be mindful of how hot the surfaces can get as they're walking and playing around, because we want to make sure that they are staying safe. Right now, the community of Trona is very much shaken by that 7.1 earthquake that happened yesterday evening. Today, I got a chance to speak with some of the residents who say they lived some terrifying moments.
Opened the front door and water came pouring out of the house.
Mark Haas is one of thousands of residents trying to recover from the earthquakes that rattled Ridgecrest. He graduated college in May and had moved to Ridgecrest just 3 weeks ago. In his short time in this small town, he's already experienced not one, but 2 earthquakes.
We're outside and we're having a hard time standing up. The whole earth is rumbling. Everything is, it's overwhelmingly loud.
An experience that shook him to the core. His mom receiving a phone call from him at 4 in the morning.
Mom, I lost everything.
The next morning, she took the very first flight from Iowa to come see him.
It was just devastating for us as parents to see him going through this.
Haas is still shaken by the experience.
It's a primal, visceral sense of fear.
His books and other personal belongings were also damaged. Now he is trying to start with a blank slate.
I just want to, get back to normal, start my life here.
And again, many people like Mark have shared that same sentiment. They just want to return home to their normal lives without fearing for their safety. Live in Ridgecrest, Jeanette Quesada, Eyewitness News. Hot temperatures have arrived to Bakersfield. For farm workers like Ricardo Nunez, this means exposure to extreme heat while working in the vineyards. Tuesday, the California Farm Worker Foundation hosted a heat illness campaign. Right now, they are checking our blood pressure levels to make sure they are where they need to be. If not, they'll refer us to a doctor. Lynette Johnson is a registered nurse at Delano Regional Medical Center. She says blood pressure and heat can put someone's life at risk.
Blood pressure is a silent killer. Most people don't know they have high blood pressure until it's too late.
In addition to checking their blood pressure, farm workers say they are taking their own precautions. Lidio Valenzuela says he takes frequent breaks and drinks up to 3 gallons of water per day. We have to mentally prepare.
Before the kids. Is the trailer still on its jacks or did it move off the jacks?
It's a busy day at the Ridgecrest Earthquake Emergency Call Center.
We have a lot of people in this community who've never been through earthquakes before, and they're very concerned about being able to get back into their houses.
Civil engineers, general contractors, and volunteers responding to those concerns.
We're prioritizing based on whether they feel the house has been destroyed, whether there's major damage, minor damage, or the house has just been affected by the earthquake.
Inspectors like Ryan Hitchcock volunteering their time and expertise.
We go out and we investigate properties, inspect them, and make sure that there is or isn't structural damage. And that the house is either habitable, green sticker, there's nothing wrong with it, or that it's restricted, there may be something that's leaning, could be falling over.
Going home by home and business by business to check on the safety of each structure.
We've had quite a bit of recessed lighting fall out of stuff.
The damages vary. Some are more visible than others, but city and county officials want to ensure every building is deemed safe to return to.
If they have a chimney that's fallen over or separated from the house, if a piece of the house has sank in any way or there's open fissures around the house, those would be things that you would definitely immediately want to call the city and get an inspection for.
White slopes, sunshine, and stunning views. That is the landscape you find at Alta Sierra Ski Resort.
We're within an hour and a half of Bakersfield. You can come up, you can have fun, you can go home and pass out.
A winter wonderland in the Kern River Valley where you can ski, snowboard, and even go snow tubing.
Everything from, black diamond runs to just like a bunny hill for learning.
Last year, the resort opened for only 2 days due to insufficient snowfall. In the 4 years prior, it didn't open at all. But this year, they have already seen a good amount of snow.
About 2.5 feet would be good for us.
And it's lifting their spirits. Alta Sierra Ski Resort is very excited to have already 10 inches of snow, and they're expecting to potentially open on Sunday. They hope the peak of the season will be Christmas time, and this year they're expecting anywhere between 400 and 800 people. Dave Rochelle, Anthony Morales is a warrior on the battlefield and on the golf course, and he also proved to be a champion at this year's Warrior Open tournament. Anthony Morales is a warrior at heart. He has a deep love for his country and for golf. Morales was selected to participate at the Bush Institute Warrior Open in Dallas, Texas, a 36-hole golf tournament that honors post-9/11 U.S. service members who were seriously wounded or injured since September 11, 2001. After learning about the prestigious invitation, he spent countless hours perfecting his swing.
It was surreal.
Earlier this month, he traveled to Dallas, Texas, where he played golf alongside former President George W. Bush.
Inside, you're freaking out because you're talking to George Bush, but on the outside, it's just a normal conversation with a regular guy who just happened to be a president.
He saw pros like Ryan Palmer, John Senden, Lee Trevino, and Tony Romo, and competed against 23 other wounded warriors.
When you get a bunch of veterans or military guys together, that brotherhood, that camaraderie immediately establishes itself again.
On his first chance to show his talent to number 43, he topped his drive.
I was so nervous, and then I walked back, and George Bush just gave me a hard time for like the next 45 seconds to a minute.
Morales left his heart in the golf course and took a swing for a victory. And it paid off. His low net score earned him the Champions Cup.
I walked up, George was holding the trophy, and I grabbed it with one hand, and he let go, and I shook his hand, and then I grabbed the trophy, and I look out, people were cheering and that kind of stuff, and I took a picture with the guy in front, and then I kissed it.
Proving to be a warrior, both in the battlefield and the golf course.
It was incredible.
Congratulations to him. Now, he tells me the trophy is so big that he has yet to find a place for it, but he is expected to return and compete again in next year's tournament. Live in studio, Jeanette Quesada, Eyewitness News.